Good evening, and welcome back to Sooners Recap. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, with my co-hosts, Kchris, Griffin of the Horns Down podcast, and Mr. Chris Mason from Sooners360. Welcome into the show, gentlemen. Good to see you again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello.
We are here.
We are here. Uh, hey, listen, felt like wasn't perfect today, but it looked pretty dominant as far as defenses, which is what you're expecting out of this Oklahoma team, is to go out, impose its will defensively, and then you had, you know, I don't know. We'll talk about the quarterback play, I'm sure, and kind of what we saw out of all that stuff. But look, you took advantage of situations. You didn't turn the ball over. What were your initial thoughts coming into it, Chris?
Oh, my initial thoughts were for us to go out there and play really well this game, man. I went back and watched some South Carolina games, and I said, one, I don't know if that offensive line is going to hold up. Two, it's all dependent on what do we do after the play breaks down, right? Can we stop him? Can we prevent him from? I wasn't necessarily worried about him taking off. What I was more worried about is, like I told you guys on the podcast a few days ago, when the play breaks down for him and he starts scrambling, he's throwing bombs. He's not looking in the intermediate. He's not doing any of that right there just to pick up the first down. He's throwing bombs. I thought the pressure, I thought all the rest of those things, it was a recipe for success for us. We just had to go out there and execute. Just to piggyback off of what Chris Mason said a couple of weeks ago when we were here, complimentary football. That's what I expected to see, and that's what we got back. I was very loud about my thoughts about Mateer bouncing back, having a really good bounce back game. Thought that you saw a bunch of things. I think that his stats, the 150 that he had through the air, Jason, I'll say this right here, probably get some more. There were some drops. There was a couple of things that happened today. Regardless, though, man, you went out there and you kind of exceeded, I think, a lot of our expectations. We'll talk about the run game. I'll just put that out there because that was something that was interesting. But for me, one of the things that I was most pleased with was just the simple fact of we got back to a lot of our bread and butter of what we want to do. I know people are still wanting us to stretch the field, and we had a couple of plays where we tried to do that, try to go long and stuff like that. It's there, but at the same time, you take what the defense is going to give you, and we were able to move the ball a whole lot. And it's interesting that we didn't really have a lot of QB run in this game here. But two big things, again, that exceeded my expectations, run game and then offensive line. Hats off to those guys. Still a lot to clean up. And that's what you really like about this team is that they're still not necessarily, they haven't peaked yet. And that's actually okay because we got some bigger games down the road. I'll pass the mic to Chris Mason.
If you had told me pregame 26-7, I would have taken that every day of the week and twice on Sundays or whatever cliche you want to use. Right? That was what I loved was the first drive was precise. It was sharp. And the defense, as Ian Olsen says, the Predator helped on that goal line stand. The defense gave up one bad running play from a running back all day, and that was that fullback sort of trap play, dive play, whatever you want to call it, on that 4th and 1. And then you got some scrambling from Sellers in the third and fourth quarters. Otherwise than that, they could have been in the teens for running the ball today with the sack yardage and the lost yardage we got. And we basically, I don't want to say we just wasted the fourth quarter, but we basically we're just running out of string. So we put 24 points up on offense, legit drives, 3 offensive drives, 3 touchdowns, and off the running game, put up about 170 yards by our running backs. if we have 170 yards rushing from our running backs in any of our games coming up, that's a win. You're not beating Oklahoma if our jab is working on offense, the running game. You're not beating us. Not with the way our defense is currently playing. So, and again, just the momentum it gives us. I mean, we were on the mat last week, right? We got knocked out, fluke punch by Texas, whatever you want to call it. They kicked our ass. They beat us, right? But we got off the mat, went on a road game. I don't think South Carolina is very good, but we took care of them, and I think that maturity in handling what happened, going on the road, and having and Caden Idleman's right. I mean, the 3 holding calls on that 4th down pass they gave Sellers were ridiculous. So overall, I mean, as Kchris said, incremental improvement on the offensive line. If we can keep having that occur, they're a winnable game. As daunting as our schedule is, look, if you're watching SEC football, as I am today, the flawed teams we have coming up are showing their flaws more and more.
Jason, can I just say one more thing, and I'll pass it back to you.
Sure.
OU was the more physical team today on both sides of the ball. If nobody else saw that, I saw that. I think that Blaylock set the tone as far as just with some of his rushes, offensive line especially. Again, like, hey, Dylan Stewart, hey, if things go south, you know what I'm saying? Head down south, right? Head over here to Oklahoma, right? But no, him going out, I thought that we took advantage of that as well. Again, it was a really, really satisfying day. But I just got to jump in and say that I think that we were the more physical team, and that I think that again that's another thing that I would add to the list of what exceeded my expectations. Because for whatever you want to say about South Carolina, they find a way to stay in the game and be extremely annoying down the stretch. But
Yeah.
this was a game here that it was never really in doubt. I think the touchdown was kind of cheap. There was some ticky-tack stuff. You could have called a hold, could have called a false start on that play that they did have that touchdown. But at the end of the day, you come out there and you make them go 2 back-to-back drives, 3 and out, and then you kind of you put the nail in the coffin, and you get a safety, and you get a turnover today. I mean, it's just again, I think that we were a more physical team, and then when you heard them boo early and often in the game, it was just another sign of just like, hey, put your foot on their neck. Let's go ahead and get up out of here. We got a big game next week. Let's do what we need to do. But again, complimentary football, and I thought that the physicality today, the level of physicality, the want to, it was there on all ends.
Yeah. I guess if I had to say anything, I mean, if we were going to talk anything negative at all, I don't know. I don't know how negative you can really be, because to be honest with you, what we wanted from John Mateer, I mean, I think I was listening to Damian Mackey a few minutes ago, and he was talking about how this is a like did he put it? This is a non-dynamic version of John Mateer, but you didn't turn the ball over. This is your guy that's going to come in here and manage the game and not put the ball in jeopardy, which at the moment is kind of what you need. Although that being said, I think that moving throughout the rest of the season, you're going to need him to play more like himself from the last few weeks before he got hurt, right? I think we're going to need more of that dynamic play. Azul Ranger saying we have to. Talking about that he doesn't want to see quarterback running the ball anymore unless the pocket breaks down. I don't really see that that's going to ever be a thing. You know what I mean? I think that part of what he is to this football team has been running. Now, I would agree that the wiggle is kind of gone. We're not seeing him as explosive with his legs, and I kind of wonder what that's about, if it's just timidness. But I think that you sent him into there with a game plan to just protect the football and let this defense put you in a position to win this game. You get a couple of turnovers, you get a safety at the end. I mean, these are things that, you needed to go do. I mean, what did I think I predicted 24-10 the other night. Mm-hmm. It's 26-7. That's pretty much how we were hoping you would get the game to go. Moving forward, you may need different, but I think this was certainly what we needed. I mean, I've been the proponent of saying, hey, we don't have to have you go be a Heisman guy. We do not have to have that. So just go out there and let this defense put you in a position to not fuck it up,
So
and don't fuck it up.
Be
so
nice if we could get a punt block in the back call.
yeah, Jason. Now I agree with you up to a point, though. Okay, I think today, excuse me. I think today was one of those days where, again, watching in the weeds, just kind of watching the film back. Hey, man, they got some guys on that defense. They have some guys on that edge at the very least. If you don't like the defense, they got some guys on that edge. I think it's one of those things where you weren't trying to exploit certain things where you knew that, hey, their secondary, kind of second level of their defense, you can toy with them, you can get them. Those bench routes, the little zigzags, our little out routes, different things like that. We had their corners, we had their DBs kind of on skates all day. And it was just one of those things where you were able to kind of move the ball that way and just kind of stick a little bit or whatnot. So to me, I think that it was more of a game plan thing than it was. I'm not going to necessarily say that, oh, yeah, he's lost his wiggle all the way or this and that, but I think it's one of those things where I think the game plan didn't really call on him to do a lot of that. And I think it probably changed whenever they realized, hey, we can have success on the ground running the ball. And then again, I mean, come on now. We all think Fasusi is amazing. I think Fasusi is going to be a freshman All-American this year. I think Derek Simmons, it was great to see him, nut up, put some dirt on it, and go out there and lace them up and get out there and get dirty too. But, South Carolina's going to have edges, and they got edge guys. So I think that was one of those things where you didn't want to just kind of put those guys out there and, you're running this, long developing this and that. I think you were trying to get the ball out of his hand quickly, but I think also you're just trying to give yourself an opportunity just to move the ball. But again, I think that things probably changed as the game went on whenever you saw the level of success you were able to have on the ground with Blaylock. And, man, it was great to see X-Rob get that long run under his belt today as well.
I was happy to see that too. And the only thing that I would say, as far as material, I'd love to see him start stepping up in the pocket instead of drifting and getting hit like he did. You know what I mean? Step up in the pocket and make the throw. We know you can. We know you can make the throw. So but yes, running game. I think everybody's been screaming about it for weeks, right? They've been screaming about it for weeks. We haven't had it, and never mind the quarterback run game, because that's not what we're talking about. You have to have the ability to get out there and run the football with your running backs a little bit. Now, I will preface a lot of this with saying that you have to remember that this is the worst run defense in the SEC. So you got healthy against them. But that means if that's what we did against the worst run defense in the SEC, then that means that they at least were going on the game plan of what you should probably be doing, right? So what do you think about that, Mr. Mason?
They're bad on run defense, and we ran the ball on them. I mean,
that's what I was getting at. That's what I was getting at.
You're exactly on target. We ran the ball. We looked good running the ball. Our two running backs looked good. They combined for nearly 170 yards, I think, is the total when you look at it. Yeah, I mean, it's 160. It's 160. They combined for 160 yards rushing. So again, I'll take that every day. Our defense is so good. We don't need the heroic Baker, Kyler, Hurts 44 points a game nonsense. And especially on the road, protecting the ball, running the ball, reducing the game. These are all strategies that previously were alien to us, but they're in our playbook right now. The defense, before the 50 yards of yardage they got in their final drive when we had our backups in, I mean, we almost held South Carolina, a Power 4 offense, to under 200 yards of total offense. That's like 1980s era defense. That's not, post 2000. You don't hold teams to this low a yardage standpoint and let's be honest, Sellers is a talent at quarterback. It's not like they just have some duffer there who's completely incompetent. I mean, he's He's physical. He can run the ball. I mean, he had that one big scramble, but even with that, he had -9 yards rushing for the day. If you take away, the Faison fullback play that I referenced earlier, I mean, their running backs are something in the line of 20 carries for 30 yards in run defense. I mean, that's stupid levels of run defense in the modern football game. I mean, it is. So we have a different way to win football games. We have to just accept it a little bit. And once they were up 24-7, Brent's like, it's over. Game's over. I'm not worrying about. I don't have to pad out. We don't have to pat stat. We just need to win football games.
At the end of the day, whenever you're looking in that column, you have over 150 something yards passing, and you have over 150 something yards on the ground. I mean, you probably with a smile on your face. You know what I'm saying? Especially with that defense.
Yeah, I mean, because I said this in our green room, right? I'm keeping an eye on the Georgia Ole Miss game in my back pocket here a little bit, and and Georgia's going to win. It's crazy to say, Chris, that OU has a better defensive line than UGA.
Georgia just finally pulled out. What do you mean it's crazy to say? They haven't been good and they're giving up everything. But
Chris, but Jason, just from a certain perspective, right? Just to show that progress OU's made at the D line. I mean, Georgia's maybe having a down year at D line, but to show the progress on the D line that OU's made, to the point that we can say that the bell cow for defense the last 6 years in college football, who are signing 5 stars, high 4 stars, left and right from Georgia, from the southeast, getting the best kids in the southeast, to say that Todd Bates and Miguel Chavis have crafted a defensive line that is better than Georgia's it's not I don't think it's debatable, but it's to just show how far we've come, even 2 years, even from 2023. And to see all the young guys out there as well. I mean, it's an impressive statement to make that when you know how well Georgia just recruits, and they have damn good coaches on defense. That's Kirby's focus. That's his side of the ball he focuses on. It's an amazing the 2025 defense, which is why we just kind of need to get the offense rolling, because we have so much momentum defensively. We just need to just have this season keep rolling, the offense get better and better, because we have the defense.
And here's the thing, okay? I think it's somebody in here who said that the offense stinks or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, that's Wes. He's being a doomer.
Yeah, it doesn't stink. I mean, it's working. You're able to go out there and do things. Do you want to see them put up more numbers, this and that? I'm sure that you do. But at the same time, something's got to give. People, I don't care if the BV experience ends tomorrow, right? If you can't say anything good about him, you can say at least one thing. He fixed the defense. The defense is not the issue. But at the same time, man, I think this offense, it still has a ways to go. But at the same time, I think there's certain things that we gotta remember. It's the first time for a lot of people outside of a person named John Mateer that is out there on the field actually executing this thing. Because on that first drive, right? On that very first drive, there was a pass where it looked like he threw it behind Satania. Again, it's still getting Satania, Keontae Lewis, Giovanni Gibson, Burks, a lot of these guys, we still have to give them enough time to really fully understand this offense and what it's asking. Sit down there. You don't have to keep going. There's 2 guys there. He's not trying to lead you. It's this. And I'm not trying to put blame on them, but I'm just saying there's certain things that you have to look at with this scheme and just understand. Like, it's there. Things are there. You just have to see it. You just have to be able to catch it cleanly. There was a drop by Satanian today. There are certain things that need to happen, but at the same time, when a defense is allowing you to run on them like you were today, I don't know what more you want. You want dominant, you want this and that, and guess what happened? They went out there and they dominated them and they ran the ball effectively. At first, it looked like, yeah, I'm fine with it. Just pick up 2, 3 yards, and all of a sudden those became 10 to 15 yard gashes. We were able to get a lot of ground. We were in short, and field position was great for us an awful lot as well. Again, kind of going back to the Kent State game, we talked about that as well. People are like, "Oh, you only put up 350 something yards on Kent State." Yeah, we we were in plus yardage every time they punted. You get what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things where things are starting to come together for this team. Um, right now, I wasn't looking for us to go out there. Yes, I wanted us to beat them 60-0, right? But at the
Yeah.
same time, 26-7, holding that team, and honestly, you shouldn't really gave up that touchdown. That's to be debated another time. But again, this team went out there, they responded well, they attacked well, they were more physical, and that's all that you can ask for. And the whole thing is that again, go back to last year, people. Shane Beamer was doing a lot of stuff, and I think a lot of us like Shane Beamer. But Shane Beamer took some liberties out there
Not
last
me.
year on our field. So to go up there and do that in here and potentially send his ass to Va Tech, definitely happy with today, guys.
And
Definitely.
you got a great point. Like psychologically speaking, South Carolina embarrassed us last year. I mean, it was the worst home game in a really long time. I mean, it was a terrible home game. And to go to
They
South
have them
Carolina,
though. They have them from time to time.
well, but
Yeah.
if you think about it, it's the worst. I mean, Jason, let's not dwell on it. Last year's last year, but to rebound against this squad on the road and to beat them and to calmly walk away with a fourth quarter that was really meaningless, and against this team that embarrassed you last year, that maturity, that mental improvement in handling yourself and handling your game is big. This would like there were lots of folks predicting we were going to lose today, and every one of them, is going to have to put their have to record their weekend update and say, yeah, I blew that game. I didn't have that game right because 26-7, and as you're right, it should be 26-0. It was a great win. On the road. I mean, the SEC is a weird snake pit of games. I mean, it is. I mean, you go on the road and win at Columbia, walk away with a 19-point win. Sooner bettors should be happy, and Sooner fans should be happy.
I'm about to pull a Jason real quick.
Well, that's where.
Oh, go ahead, Jason. I'm sorry. I was about to pull a you real quick. I was about to go in, but
Do it. I already handled it. Go ahead. I already handled it, but please do. He's in there.
Hey,
Go ahead.
all I was gonna say, dominating another shit team. That's what you're supposed to fucking do. What are we talking about? That's
No
what
shit.
you're supposed to do.
Instead of playing with your food like other people we know,
What are we
like other
talking
teams we
about?
know.
Look, 2 years ago, 2023, when we beat Texas, we went and played like shit against UCF. What do y'all want? This is why you have to do a couple of things if OU loses one game. You have to stay away from Twitter. You have to stay away from the radio shows. You have to stay away from the national perspective. You need to go and touch grass. Go out there. If you have a wife, if you have a girlfriend, if you have anybody, go touch somebody. Hold hands. Go to church. Get your spirits up. It's not the end of the world. We still have the rest of our season ahead.
Look, you did what you were supposed to do is the bottom line. You're supposed to win the damn game. And at the end, style points no longer matter. No longer matter in this game. Back in the day, whenever you were worrying about posters and everything else, and it was all about that, if you were going to get even in the 14 playoff, style points might have mattered. Nowadays, they don't. It's strength of schedule
Well, I
and
mean,
all that other shit.
and with that shitty Big 12 schedule, you needed style points too, right?
Sure.
I mean, with the schedule we have, guys, win by 1, 2, I don't care, and rock fights left and right. I really don't give a damn because the schedule we have coming up gets us where we need to go if we keep winning games.
No, and there's no two ways around it. And like I said, we talked about this coming in. Just find a way to win because guess what? How many you beat Auburn on the road last year in the SEC, and that was it. And you had multiple opportunities to win. I remember thinking at the half, they had just let them get back close to it. It was 14-7 at the half. And I'm thinking, don't be Ole Miss or Missouri from last year. these road games where you're out there in the lead at the half and then you find a way to gag that shit away. Or for that matter, Texas, where you have an opportunity to go in there and shut them down in the second half and you don't do it. So bottom line is you can be mad about that you don't think that this offense is that good. I got to tell you, I don't think this offense is that good. I don't care. It's good enough if your defense is going to continue playing like this. And I know one thing is what we just saw with Georgia and Ole Miss is not what you're going to see with Oklahoma and Ole Miss next week. They're not going to go down there and score at will like they just did on the Georgia defense.
Now, can I jump in on that? Can I
Please.
piggyback on that? So not only that comment, let me put this comment up there real quick, Jason. So Kate Nodelman, he says our secondary is going to be tested a lot next week. Hey, that's a respectable comment. I get that. In my opinion, I'm not sure. Here's the reason why. Okay, we handled that SART test last week really, really well. We had a bust. Don't get me wrong. We had a bust that led to a touchdown. It was mostly, for whatever reason, our stubbornness couldn't make the right adjustments, I guess, to just on that defensive line as far as them pinching inside, just kind of doubling one of our guys and then trying to kick back. We talked about that. Let's not dwell on that. Regardless, though, I get what you're saying because he loves that intermediary game. Obviously, he wants to take a shot, but he loves to work the intermediate routes an awful lot too, and they're open. Those guys pop open a lot, but we'll see. We'll see when we get there. But I mean, today again, people, though, like Harbor, those guys like that, those are usually guys that we're having trouble with. You go and watch some of the defense that we were playing with our secondary. Now, Boganowski should have had an interception right there, in my opinion. There's still some times where we're getting caught on a couple of things, but at the same time, for the most part, I thought they played well. I will say. We didn't let anything deep go. There was, obviously
Right.
Boganowski that one time, he chunked it deep a couple of times, but we were there. We had really good. We were playing three high at times. Sometimes we just pretty much kind of almost like a cover 2, cover 1 stuff. But it was a good product. And this offense, I'm telling you, people. Here's the thing. Here's what you guys got to remember: is again, this team is not peaked yet, defensively or offensively. They've just been consistent. And to me, I think that's the scary thing is that there's a lot of teams out there that still haven't peaked. There are some teams who have peaked. And Florida State is one of those teams. There's a couple other teams we could talk about as well, but I'm just saying some of these teams early on that you saw putting up these explosive numbers and stuff like that, these teams are kind of leveled off or they're going a level down. So that's my only thing is I'm just putting caution out there and say, hey, be a little bit more patient. I get it. We're 7 games in, and yes, we are probably what we are. But I still think that we can be pretty effing good at what we are doing right now. So that's just my thoughts.
Well, if we thought we were going to be a top 20, top 15 type defense, right? I think preseason you would have taken that, right? If I told you, hey, we're going to be a top 15 defense, you'd have been like, that tracks with what we're seeing. We'll take that.
Yeah, I think we were all talking about that. We expected it to be the best defensive line, but not the best defense.
No, overall, we're worried about the secondary linebacker play. We're like, we lost Stutz. I mean, guys, we're a top 5 defense. I mean, we're at a defensive level. I don't think any of us predicted preseason. I mean, at least I certainly didn't see this from anybody. I mean, it was like everybody was talking about our defense being good, but so I thought we needed to be like a top 30 offense. Well, with a top 3 defense, 24 points might win every game we have on our schedule.
And I was just about to say that. All 3 of us said this team averages 23 plus points per game. I think I'd take OU. I like OU's chances in every one of those games.
Maybe Tuscaloosa will take a little more. I don't know. But, LSU's walking in. I don't know that we'll see Nussmeier in that game. He might have packed it in at that point. They look like crap today. They're a little better on offense, but I mean overall they didn't look good. I don't know what Missouri will look like by the time they get to Norman. And, Ole Miss, they put up points on Georgia today. They also defensively didn't look very good at all. Either way, I mean, Georgia owned that second half on them. And Georgia hasn't, so I just think there's a ceiling for this team, and we've come nowhere near close to it. Remember, I think this is probably the second game in a row where we've had the offensive line that we want to play. And if we have that again, if we can keep having that offensive line play game over game over game, we got our running backs. Let's not talk about the 3-letter word ever again. It's not relevant this year. We've got our 2 running backs. Mateer can run the ball, I think, if we need him to if you want to throw a curveball at somebody to get some more yards. Giovanni Gibson is coming into. He looks good out there. He's rounding into play. We have a number 1 wide receiver in Satania. Caden Helms and it's hard to know with all the action moving on and the TV. It looked like from some of the success plays I saw highlights on that Caden Helms is doing a decent job blocking. Something to build from. He's obviously got the size and he's got the athleticism. So I think it's really a question of can we keep maintaining some momentum and incrementally improve week over week. We're not going to go from being an offense that struggled to score a touchdown from Texas to putting 45 points up on everybody. That's unrealistic. But we could but Texas, I think, is the best defense we'll see for the rest of the year. I don't think the defenses we're going to see the rest of the year are as good as Texas is. So if we can make incremental improvements offensively every week, especially running the football, and Mateer makes more plays, but when you're up 24-7 and when you're up 24-7 and you know that your opponent can't really drive on you. As Chris said, why risk your tackles and why risk your quarterback against the only weapon the opposing defense has, which is their pass rushers? Run the football, reduce the game. The game took a long time, but it was a short number of plays in the game. It was only 67 plays for both teams. I've got to give Buckle credit that he's not been doing the Levy nonsense where he was trying to, leaving us out there for another 20 plays, every game because of trying to go, use tempo left and right. Arbuckle seems to be realistic about, we should work clock because it helps because every minute we take off the clock on offenses puts pressure on the opposing, offenses because of our defense. Didn't used to be that way, but score as quickly as we can because we need every minute we can to get points on the board. That's no longer a strategy for us.
No. Did what was crazy was that stat that it's like 80-something games in a row where if you hold your opponent to under 21, that Oklahoma wins.
Yeah, we own
that tells you alone right there. I mean, obviously that goes a long ways back. It's probably freaking a century back for that matter.
Yeah.
But truth be told, we probably need better play from the quarterbacks at some point through. I mean, I don't think that you're going to beat Alabama by being pedestrian on offense.
No.
And I think
you, depending upon where you are.
Same with Ole Miss, probably, right?
Yeah, you're going to need to put some points up, and you need to get into the 30s probably for those 2 games, right? To be there. But I think this is going to sound a little stupid, but the Tuscaloosa game is kind of house money, right? For the most part, OU's going to walk in there.
Hold on. No, it's not house money unless you win the next 2.
Well, exactly, but there's a potential possibly. But for the most part, though, most folks have us losing at Tuscaloosa.
Sure, I'm saying
that's an FBI and all the.
But I also, after I said Tuscaloosa, I said Ole Miss as well, and I was about to say Tennessee, but you were already on your point.
Yeah. No,
these are offenses that are going to go put points up.
They are.
I don't think they're going to put up the same amount of points on Oklahoma as what they're doing on everybody else because they're not playing the same defense. There's no way.
And defensively, Tennessee's got problems, right? Ole Miss has problems, and Alabama has issues. So it's not like we're walking into it to defensive juggernauts. They're good on offense, but defensively, they've got gaps.
And I agree with you on that, Jason. I mean, yeah, there's going to be times where, hey, material, you're going to have to go out here, put us on your back a couple of times. We saw you do it against Michigan.
We need some material heaters, right?
Yeah,
We need a
we
couple
need
of heaters.
we need some heaters and stuff like that. But I can say, man, like again, that first drive, I think people were overlooking. Hey, you're second and 20. You're killing yourself with penalties and all the rest of that stuff. But then you still still find a way to go down the field and score a touchdown. I mean, it's just one of those things where uh, for some people are screaming there's a lack of aggression with Arbuckle. Some people are screaming that was a lack of just explosiveness or whatever. But I can definitely say a lot of his calls pretty much have been timely and they've been on time. I think that's just a thing of he's the offensive coordinator. I think he's running what he wants to run. I think he's doing that. But again, I think Kevin Wilson is a big part of this, kind of like just trying to find that balance and just trying to figure out, okay, as the game goes on, this is what we can do. But again, I mean, look, today we got the win. That's the biggest thing. We are 6-1 people. Last year, this time we were not that. And so, I mean, I think it's just one of those things where you have to be happy with the win, however it looks. I know everybody has a certain expectation.
We were three
No,
and
I'm
four,
not,
right?
and I think that you have to. I agree. This win doesn't matter. The rest of the weeks doesn't. We said, what did we say? Unless you win this week,
Mhm.
what are you going to do the rest of the way? If you can't beat this football team, then you don't have probably much chance of getting to the playoff. We're still alive there. We're still alive there. Now, do you have to do better things moving forward? Yes. Guess what? This is how it always is in championship football. It gets harder week after week after week, all the way to the end. All the way to the end. So, yeah, I would agree. And I mean, you guys are, I said it in there too. I want to see Mateer be able to go out there and be dynamic and hit these receivers. I'd love to see actual dynamic things happening from these receivers aside from Satangna. I don't know what's going on with the rest of them. They don't make anybody miss, for fuck's sake.
Well,
They don't make anybody
Burks did
miss.
today.
Win.
Briefly. He didn't get a lot of hops today either.
Come on, man. Come on.
He made a play.
Burks runs into the first fucking tackler he sees, for fuck's sake. What are we talking about?
He ran past the guy today.
Oh, my Lord.
Small wins, Jason. Small wins.
All I'm saying is we're going to have to see some more of these kind of.
Small wins.
We're going to have to. Hey, we're going to have to hear some more and see some more of this shit coming down the stretch. Is all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, dude. I mean, but it's not like any of us are crowing and saying, "Man, that's the best fucking football game I've seen from OU all year."
No.
Or this.
No, and that's what I was trying. The point I was trying to make
Yeah.
was, look, I don't care what it looked like today. If they crawled across the finish line and one by one, it would have been fine because you're still alive. I feel like if you don't find a way to win this game, and honestly, if you don't find a way to win this game like the way that they did, you probably have to be a little concerned moving forward. This defense showed once again, and even in the loss last week, they put you in a position to win long after you should have had a position, after you should have been in a position to win.
You know what I like the most? You know what I like the most about the defensive performance today is a lot of the mistakes that you made last week. You cleaned those up. I thought that the contain it wasn't just the pressure, it was the contain. It was when the play broke down, there was chaos. Guys were still assignment. I wouldn't even say assignment sound. They were just sound defensively. They relied more on their technique than just being, these crazy gifted athletes, right? It just felt like, hey, you still felt good about that D line, the pressure, all the rest of that stuff. And they were in the backfield an awful lot. And guys just they played sound football. They played winning football today. But again, there was a lot of things that happened last week that that didn't carry over to this week. Guys were very assignment sound. Don't get me wrong. There were definitely some mistakes on all three levels. A couple of times with defensive line, got to get them down. If you get a hand on them, you get them in the backfield, you got to get them down. Linebackers, a couple of times, I know that we took a couple of chances, just trying to guesstimate what was happening or whatnot. Obviously, secondary, there were some times that we could have made plays at the ball on the ball. Kind of is what it is, but at the same time, I felt like for the most part, you cleaned up what they were trying to exploit, which was things that they saw on film from last week's game.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, the penalty number doesn't look favorably on you. I think that's a little bit misleading, personally.
Yeah, me too. And because here's what I was saying, and I said this a second ago. I hate to cut you off, but the penalty stuff, I think if you're watching this league week to week and game to game, they fucking suck at officiating. They're fucking terrible at it. And so you have to just know that you're going to see some terrible fucking calls. I mean, they literally made the call. Thank God for replay, because they tried to get Powers up out of there, and we would have missed him for half the game next week on a play that there's no way that you needed to slow that down and look at it. You knew that he led with his shoulder. He was hitting him at shoulder level, and then the guy ducks down, and because his head does this, they automatically call targeting. Get ready, because we're going to have some shit calls.
That the PI calls is what's crazy to me, because some of that stuff was kind of soft. I think I was on like one of the discords that I'm in, and I was just like, I thought this was the SEC where they let them play, right? And I'm just like, that's not happening.
It was Big 12 PI time. Oh, he breathed on the receiver. Flag. Yeah, so I think it's a little. I mean, it looks bad, but I don't think it's an undisciplined. I don't think it's an undisciplined 10 penalties. That sounds bad to say, but that's my thought on it. I don't think it's.
I think we see a moment of bad discipline about once a game.
Yeah, I mean, and that will happen and all that. But overall, not to get too far ahead. We needed this win. We needed to wipe that South Carolina loss taste out of our fan base's mouth to a certain degree. And we did that, we did that. And, and again, if you're someone that wonders why we didn't score full team points in the fourth quarter and get 100 more yards offense, I don't think you understand how football really works. We didn't need to do that. We didn't need to expose our quarterback to that.
It's not a styles point thing.
This isn't a beauty contest.
Here's the thing. One thing I'd say about that is, would I like to have seen a little better from Interior today? Probably. But here's what I would also point out. You didn't put the ball in harm's way at all. Only thing that you could do by going and being aggressive like that at the end, the only thing that you could do was put Oklahoma in jeopardy like Lincoln Riley used to do.
Yeah, I mean, your defense had the game, and again, guys, to beat this point to death, 230 yards of offense against a Power 4 football team with a guy the NFL thinks is an NFL quarterback, and they've got some talent over at the skill position at their skill positions. I mean, obviously their offensive line is not good, but still. To do that against a Power 4 football team that ran for nearly 200 yards against LSU last week, because they did. They only got 10 points, but they ran for nearly 200 yards on LSU. You just dominated them. You made them one-dimensional, and you dominated them. If there's something more you need from a football game, then obviously. I don't know. We understand football at a completely different fundamental level.
Yeah, I think there's still a lot of. Bob bringing up the Texas game already. Look, we're gonna have to get past that, folks. It doesn't matter. It's over now. Does it suck? Yes, of course it does. In the end, you got to move on. And what's left, you still have everything in front of you. You still have everything in front of you that you want as far as your goals are concerned. You do. And they're going to have to get better week to week to week in order to have a shot at this thing. Either the SEC championship or the Natty. You got to get better from week to week to week. So, I mean, we're not breaking any new ground here.
We got 3 winnable home games coming up. And we have the best defense we've had in 24 years. To try and win those games and incremental.
Better, fatty. Fatty ass as the kicker gets big NIL to stay next season. Fuck, he better.
Is he a senior?
I thought this was his last year.
Is it?
I mean the money.
I don't know. Is there such a thing as a senior anymore? I mean, you should be able to find another year.
That is a really good. That's a really good point, Jason. Maybe that's a good point. Existentially, there is no graduation.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know about all that.
Let me just look it up real quick. Get an idea of where he is. All right, Tate Sandell is a junior.
Might get 2 more years out of his ass then.
Yep. I mean, he's a junior. I mean, talk about. I mean, one last comment. I mean, is it just not so refreshing that when we roll out our kicker, you're like, okay. You're just not like, it's not like the Jimmy Stevens years, the horror fest that was, or any other years. I mean, I think he's done a great job, meaning that for a defense that can stop people, when the offense gets to the 35-yard line, knowing that you have a high probability of getting points, that's huge. That you don't have to risk all these 4th down plays. You can just send Sandell out there, put points on the board, and you know your defense is going to back that up.
Man, and look at Ole Miss. They had this game by the balls and freaking gagged that shit away, just like Tennessee.
No,
listen,
gagging that away, Texas Tech is now up on ASU. ASU has just gagged that away.
But we're not talking about the Big 12, bro. We're talking about teams that we got to play. Both of these teams that you've got coming up in the next 2 have had Texas dead to rights and let them slip away.
Yeah,
or no, Georgia, sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
Have had Georgia dead to rights and let them slip away.
Georgia is a highly efficient, a very effective cockroach. You have to just
nuke them.
I mean, you cannot let them hang around. I mean, they're like Jason from the Friday the 13th movies. You think they're dead?
You got to put them in the microwave and leave it on for 10 minutes.
Yeah, you turn your back and he's back up and he's swinging a machete at your head. If you don't, but yeah, I mean, it's good. The SEC is going to be interesting today. The game tonight will be interesting as well. OU wins no matter who loses that game from a certain perspective, because we have to play both of those teams. I mean, I just want a physical 60-minute, horror fest for both teams. And Missouri's got tough games coming up. Everybody on our schedule is in the same boat we are. No one is really going to be skating by with easy games before they play us. And no one's getting the bye weeks before they play us either.
That's the other part too, yeah. Because, I mean, you had, South Carolina lost on the road to LSU last week, and then they came home and had to deal with us. And then they go on the road next week for Alabama.
And then they got
Or they have Bama at home, or don't they? They have Bama at home.
It may not matter. Then they got A&M, and it's...
they're in deep shit.
They're
in deep shit. But, I mean, look, you've got you go and had to have a tough loss like that for Ole Miss. I mean, they had that game, and then for them to lose it.
Yeah, I mean, freaking Arkansas is taking Texas A&M to the limit. It's 28. It's 28.
Yeah, my bets are starting to look really good.
It's 28-20. A&M's defense.
Shout out to my bookie.
Yep. So you're overall, but I mean, not to belabor the points, but. And strategically, playing Neubauer makes total sense. For what he did in the game, you don't need to waste one of Mike's games for what he did today. You just don't.
Yeah. I don't think so either. I think that what they did today was absolutely what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
You needed him for one play. You don't waste one of the days that you had, one of the games that you have for Michael Hawkins for a helmet coming off.
No.
If you do, you have to fire the staff now.
Exactly. Those are the intelligent steps that you don't need to do that. So
no.
But it was again, if I told you we rushed for 170 yards on Friday night, would you have not rushed out and put every dollar you could on us to cover and win that game?
Yeah.
If someone told me that OU is going to rush for 171 yards on 40 carries, I would have been like, honey, can we bet the mortgage on OU in the money line? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah.
Josh Pate always has those pop statter things, right? Pops the page and says this stat leaps off the page. 40 carries, 171 yards. I mean, I don't care that John Mateer, if you say we had a pedestrian game, yeah, but he complemented our running game.
Yeah, listen, and again, shout out to my bookie, man. I won a 14 parlay, won $270 off a $20 bet today, folks. Make sure you go sign up. Make sure you go sign up, bro.
That's a hell of a parlay there, dude.
Yeah, I had Oklahoma and the under. I had to get Oklahoma and the under, bro.
Oh yeah, I mean, the over.
Georgia Tech.
My Jackets, man. I keep telling you they're going to the playoffs.
The Jackets, yeah. Vandy. I had Vandy, and I had Michigan -5.
And so, final comment because I need to bounce and go get some dinner. Is there any chance that Brian Kelly can get fired this year too?
Yes, very much so.
I mean,
hey, I think that is Brian Kelly not on the list of coaches that they might want at Penn State, since he's a Northeast guy, not a South guy.
Well, if that doesn't define fuck up, move up, I don't know what does.
But he won everywhere. He's the winningest all-time coach in Notre Dame history, for fuck's sake.
I know. He's the killer, and I just have a hard time moving beyond that.
Brian Kelly. What's so amazing about the whole situation is that it's not just the on the field stuff; it's kind of the antics off the field too.
He's just a jackass.
It's a combination of things. I can already tell you. I'm sure that if Nick Anderson and Sharp had it their way, they'd probably still be here at OU right now.
Do you know what? One last comment. Do you know what they did today?
Nothing.
No catches, and Bauer Sharp apparently had a holding penalty, and Nick had 1 catch for no yards. Bauer no catches, and Bauer had a penalty that brought a first down back. I saw Andrel Anthony playing for Duke earlier.
Yeah,
it didn't look good either. I think the only guy doing a damn thing is Brennan Thompson, right? And I think Jalil Farouk's having a decent year.
Nick was doing okay. Nick was doing okay. He's been hurt though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
He's
true.
been hurt still, but he he broke his finger on a touchdown catch.
Well, that's such the Anderson thing, right? That poor family and injuries, man. Poor, So, all right, I'm going to bounce, guys. Much better having a post-game win. And
oh yeah,
is that game?
I mean, because you already still got some dooming going on. Imagine had they lost.
I already told my Doom Slack channel. I have a Doom channel for them. I said no fucking posts for 72 hours. I see anything in there, I'm deleting them. Enjoy the win, as Kchris says. Go take your shoes off. Walk in the grass. Enjoy the flowers of an OU victory.
Oh,
the world looks better. It feels better. Enjoy it.
Yeah. They'll do that. Go do that. Smell the roses.
No doubt.
Crimson
Anything else we want to add before we get out of here, folks?
Crimson roses.
Nah, man. I thought it was a good game, and we will catch you later tonight, Jason, when you have your call-in show and all the rest of that too.
Yeah, we'll be on tonight. We'll probably do a quick call-in show and just kind of go through the rest of the. It's a
little crazy, bit of a crazy day. So
wild games. I'm gonna go sit down and watch this shit. It's gonna be fun.
All right, guys. Thanks, man.
All right, guys. Appreciate everybody coming in. See you all on the next one.